Am I centered okay?
You are centered and we are alive right now.
Hello, hello all.
Hi, everyone. This is Amy Hamilton, author of The Project Manager, Life is a Project, and The Consummate Communicator, Character Traits of True Professionals. And I am on my marathon session, the January edition of 24 Authors, 12 Hours. Today was Inauguration Day. I did have a few people message me saying things have been going well, but a lot of people, a lot of news cycle, a lot of spin. I said, what a great day where people can escape and people can kind of watch something different. And so this is my third entire 24-hour series, and it's a really wonderful opportunity to promote an international book festival. Today we've had speakers from India, from South Africa, from the UK, from New Zealand, from Alaska. And my current speaker is from Colorado. She is really phenomenal. She is a coach. She is somebody who, like, when you read her material, it is going to blow you away. Definitely check out her website. And the book that she wrote that we are featuring today is Stop, Step Back, and Grow: 3 Keys to Long-Term and Repeatable Success. And I will tell you, I am definitely somebody who's always willing to learn more and figure out how to get to that next level of success. So thank you so much for being on the show, Ingrid.
Oh, it's an honor. Thank you so much for having me, Amy.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what inspired you to write this book, and really kind of what inspired the methodology behind it?
Well, those are 2 questions.
Ooh, I know.
I love it. I love it. And they actually integrate together pretty well. So I am a veterinarian, small animal veterinarian, and I still practice, keep my little fingers furry. I got to do that.
You
And
are my second veterinarian today, by the way. And so I'm going to point out, this is Sugar. Sugar sits here the whole time because if not, he's just out of control barking. So he's like, as long as my mom sits in one place, this is all I want in life.
Yeah, yes, exactly right. It's right. So how's your experience when you go to the veterinary hospital, right? Or the clinic when you're getting the services? You're happy with how the team and the staff works. And yes, we have that connection with the animals and we love them. We want to make them better. And the thing, when I first planned on becoming a veterinarian as a little kid, my intent was to be a veterinarian because I didn't like people.
That's a true confession. I feel like, true confession show now.
Yes, that's it, confessions. But fortunately, before I even got into veterinary school, I realized, you know what, I actually do love people, which is very fortunate since all our little four-footed or feathered friends come in with their families. And I think what happened during that transition is I started recognizing that people do have needs and we have to learn to communicate and relay and parlay what their needs are. And it's not just about us, it's about that sharing and it's about putting things together. And I had already started shifting into the administrative roles in the veterinary hospitals that I was working in. And I was in Colorado's largest nonprofit veterinary hospital, managing as a hospital director. And I started seeing some things happening that shouldn't have been happening, right? People were making, well, can I share a story for you?
Absolutely. This is for you to share.
So, well, cool. So, and it ties all in, you'll see in a moment. So I was seeing patient after patient, and that one may have been an ear infection, maybe a broken toenail, maybe one that wasn't feeling well, or skin problem, bump here and there. As they were coming through, again, this is a nonprofit, so these are individuals that needed additional assistance financially to help maintain that family bond. And as these patients were coming through over and over, I would see that Fifi's of date with vaccines, and Fluffy, we really want to get little Fluffy started on vaccines because of this, and this. So the owners would look at me and say, yeah, I really want to do that. How much is it? And I said, well, normally it would be this, but together with what the nonprofit is able to support you through the donations and grants, it brings it down to this. Yes, Dr. Pyka, please, when do I come back? And I saw this over and over, and I started thinking, wait a minute, why is the patient waiting for me to offer these very basic preventive health measures versus having come down from the very beginning, the moment that the owners and the families are making that phone call? So I talked to our client service representative and I explained, so help me understand this. Why are the owners not hearing about this until they come to me? You know what her answer was? They can't afford it. So here we had a situation where the staff, the actual gatekeeper, is making decisions for the family. And in some cases, these are life-threatening situations that can be very preventable.
Right.
It started my gears clicking, and I realized, wait a minute. When I'm talking to one patient and their family, and I'm addressing those needs, how many more can I assist? How much bigger difference can I make by providing the systems and providing that layout so that everyone follows the same concepts and the same quality medicine in this case? So that's where that transition occurred. And I realized it's not just in veterinary medicine, it's in medicine as a whole. I've worked with chiropractors and I've worked with business owners that may be authors. They may be someone who designs specialty health plates, actually. So there are all kinds of different circumstances that all follow the same steps. Let's get that rolled together. And what are those building blocks to fit together to reach your client and your customer in the 5-star way? Well, as I'm doing this, and I tend to be just like you, Amy, right? We love the parlay of systems and protocols. And as I was putting all of these together, I have lots of forms and lots of applications and lots of how-tos. People were asking me for more of them. And Ken, wait, I see that one on your desk. I want to use that. Well, I thought, well, why don't I put them all together? And that's where Stop, Step Back, and Grow came from. It was, or is, the culmination of my process as I work with companies and as I work with business teams and the entrepreneurs to get them from point A to point B easily. Building blocks.
No, and those building blocks are so important. And if people don't have those basic foundations, then they don't get to the next level, or they build it on shaky foundations. And that's why you see so often so many entrepreneurs don't succeed long term.
Right. And it also becomes the fear factor because they don't know where to go next. And I think it happens to all of us, right? I know I have it where I'm stuck. And it's simply because I don't know what the next step is. So when we break it all down into easy, small chunks, then it becomes so much more surmountable and we have nowhere to go but take that next step forward.
So Ingrid, if I were stuck in my business, what advice would you give me?
Stop. I know that sounds counterintuitive. What? That's why it's called Stop, Step Back, and Grow. We get so busy in our life and we get so inundated and that we end up with blockades and blinders that we forget some of the things that we have in our arsenal of resources. And that first phase is that stop. And it's a moment for you to engage. In the book, it actually goes through the many categories. I think there's about 10 or 15 categories to help differentiate. Okay, who are people that you know? What are some of the marketing materials you already have in hand? What is your favorite skill? What are some of the certifications you have? Things that we forget we have in our back pocket. And that way we can at least realign and it reinvigorates us because we go, wow. Because how many times have it come to you, like you go like, wow, look at this person. How good are they? Do I deserve this? Am I good enough? And then suddenly when you look at the things that may not have initially appeared to be much, you begin putting them together in front of you. It becomes a very powerful tool to inspire us, motivate us, and become, again, those building blocks to put together.
Such an important thing. And I'm a big fan of building blocks, of Legos, of all those kinds of things, because, it's the making sure that, we have the tools. It's part of the reason why I wrote the project manager is I was working and I found that people had great project management tools, but they weren't taking those same tools and applying it back to their daily lives.
Yep. Exactly. And that's where it becomes into the efficiency. And it's like, yes, you can. So for example, the next book that I'm working on right now, and it's at the editors right now, is about now allocating that to our own personal life and in our time, because we have to maintain that work-life balance, and we have to be able to accommodate where we want to go in a reasonable way.
Such an important thing. And so many of the authors today, they talk about that. And Michael Faber, who did an excellent job earlier on one of the interviews, he talked about how you are the best expert on you. Mm-hmm. And so often we start trying to be an expert on everything else. And we forget that we really are our own best experts.
Yes. And that is where we can strengthen ourselves. Now, one of the things that my grandmother taught me is to always watch others, because we'll see things that we don't like with them, right? Well, then don't do that. And consciously make that decision. I don't want to do this. On the flip side, when you see something that you admire in another person, another company, then by all means, learn what they're doing and learn how you can do that yourself to better yourself. You already have the arsenal, like you just mentioned. You already have those skills. We are each a unique us. We're totally unique. There is no one else like us. And when we're able to expand and move more forward, that evolution creates a brand new wow.
I think those are such important concepts. And it's amazing because when you look at people and they continuously make those same mistakes, it goes into not just look at like what other people do and don't emulate it, but if you don't like something about yourself, you control you. And it's up to you to say, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's where you really have to listen to your book of step back and grow. And it might be something that's a habit and you might have to change it.
Yeah. Well, we live in a constantly changing world, right? I mean, we've seen, like today, there are some major transitions happening right now. There were major transitions happening 10 years ago, and there are going to be more transitions that happen in the next month, in the next 10 years. And I'm not talking just politically, I'm talking technologically. Even in how we think, we dress, what we eat, all changes. And as a person, and especially as a business, if we don't absorb some of those changes and become very conscious of them, we are going to fall behind as the rest of the world passes right by us. As a business, it is our responsibility to evolve with the ever-changing needs that we see out there. Some are great, and if you don't like that, that's okay. Then it's a simple way of how do you still apply what you offer now to still meet the new demands that may be coming in the future.
And you bring up a great point about the world, and that's where this being an international forum today has been phenomenal. Because when COVID first happened, I was like, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to be on the big stage and present my book. But now, I'm talking to authors around the globe who want to participate in this event. And so it's just really changed the paradigm. So now I have a global marketplace.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible. And right now, I do want to just point out to everybody, today's January 20th. And if you want to download my book, it is free all day on Kindle. Both books, The Project Manager, Life is a Project, and The Consummate Communicator, Character Traits of True Professionals. And you're talking so much about the professional side. And The Consummate Communicator is a book about creating a better business environment. And it tells the story of Jay Admiral and how he goes in as a CEO of a new bank. And he just finds it's the environment that people aren't working together. There's not teamwork. That, one of the things that's really sad is he talks about honesty and integrity. And one of the things that we often are not honest about is even to ourselves, we're not honest. And so I think in Stop and Step Back and Grow, that's an important concept that you have is how do you reflect and become honest with yourself?
And it's so hard to do. Oh my goodness, it's so hard to do, right? Because it creates a vulnerability to us. It forces us to recognize we're not perfect, and we're not. And no one's asking us to be. I don't think there's anyone out there that is asking us to be perfect. Yet we handcuff ourselves and have this ball and shackle holding us back, expecting ourselves to be perfect, when in reality, it's just us putting the best foot forward that we have the ability. And a lot of times that includes asking other people for help. The communication you just brought up is so important. And allowing others to advise you, to give you their feedback, to provide other ideas. The masterminds that are out there, they're phenomenal. Even if it's just a group session, just getting together. And as you just mentioned, we've now got the chance to meet and talk to people around the world. I mean, think about it, right? And we're still here at our own desks.
It's so amazing because you bring this up, and we're connected because of Gary Barnes, who spoke earlier today.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal person. And when you look at this network of authors that I've been building over the past 6 months, and this started from a small writers group where I said, hey, I'm going to try this, held sort of the prototype session, and somehow it became this, which is, oh my gosh, like overwhelming sometimes, but also something I'm so passionate about because in this time, authors helping authors are really just a small business for the most part. And how can we make sure that we're getting the word out? And I've had people who, this is their business where their book helps to promote this. I've had just completely independent authors who do it as their passion projects. And the ability to just help each other and empower each other is so extraordinarily important. So,
well, no, go ahead.
Go ahead to you. I was just going to ask you, so you just beat me to it.
Well, yeah, I just want to support what you just said. It is about people helping people. It's about that giving, and I feel that our community is much more giving than we give ourselves credit to. Even so I worked very closely with a statewide publishers association. And as president, it was kind of like, oh boy, how do you empower, how do you engage, how do you get people excited about what's going on? And this is where the stories become so amazing and powerful and indicative of who we are, what we can offer to each other. When we listen, back to your communication, right? When we listen to each other, not only can we learn from it, we also have the opportunity to connect people, because it's that connection. If I'm chatting with you, so for example, I didn't know about you, and now I'm so excited, and I want to be following all these cool things that you're doing, not just with the authors, but also with your the project management, right? Because it works. And it allows me to connect more authors to you. And that allows me to connect people to you that you may be, there is a connection, there's a relationship develops, or not. And that, I call it the $1 million hello community. That's actually what I call my tribe, because it's about connecting the people together, and just amazing things can happen. I mean, we've connected people where suddenly they had a whole new program develop, and then they were able to help others. I call it the win-win-win plus. because it's not just about two people. The more wins you can get on that spokes of the wheel, the better sustainability for it all. And then there is no competition. We're all helping each other. We all have our own strengths.
You know, yeah, the last speaker, and she was talking about self-love and the importance of loving yourself, and then also the importance of paying that forward. And it kind of the two, just to me, are just intrinsically tied together. Is you have to be comfortable with you have to like you, and then once you realize what it is that's special, like you said, every one of us is unique. What is that thing that you're sharing to the community? So what is it from, if I went to your website, that I would find as a viewer, and how would I be able to connect to you and continue to build on this?
Oh, absolutely. I love, again, connecting that. Well, first of all, when you go onto the website, ingridpyka.com, you'll find that there's an opportunity to join the $1 Million Hello community. And in joining, just sign in. This is not about posting and building you full of non-wanted emails. No, 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 no. This is about joining that tribe, and then us getting to know each other so that I can connect you with people around the world for whatever it is that you need or that someone else may need. There are also the different solutions, I call them. So my book is available online, and then I also have the guidebook, the blueprint along with it, which takes all the exercises out and allows you to work on them in a free form as many times as you want to. And in fact, it's this book that if those of you that are interested and would like to join in onto the community, just sign up on my website, and I will go ahead and send you the ebook for free. Normally, actually, that ebook is $127. But I want to give that, that's the whole point. And I'll offer that for the next 24 hours, that I'll give you that digital version and you can utilize it. And then just contact me for any questions you may have. I also have the time mapping, which is the way of organization, bringing time into a visual, systematic blockade that allows us to live like we want and reach our goals.
I want to look at that, because I bet that that's very similar to the WBS that I use. And I'm like, oh, I love graphic representations. So,
yeah, well, it's one of those overviews, day, month, year, all of the same view, and it's got to be there. And obviously blogs and articles there to support, and then featuring other individuals that can be there to support each other. It's the win-win-win. It's what it's about. Lots of video tips. So just come onto the website. I'd love to see and get your feedback. But yeah, www.ingridpyka.com.
So Ingrid, we are nearing the bottom of our segment. These segments just go by so fast. I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did we get to this point already, right? And, I'm just honored that you were here today. Is there anything that you want to talk about that I haven't asked you about, or that we haven't covered? Because I know that we've kind of meandered through this path, and I want to make sure that your message is heard, and such an important message that, sometimes it's not charge ahead. Sometimes it's stop, take a step back, because often what happens is we get flustered, we keep going forward, but we're just heading against that wall.
Yeah, it is. It's like my father used to say when I asked him, there's a whole history there, and eventually I'll turn that into a screenplay. But he saw a lot of things, and I kept asking him, Dad, how did you just do that? How did you survive that? Isn't that awful? Ooh. And he would just look at me calmly and go, Ingrid, that's just how it was. You just dealt with it. And it's the dealing with it is not spending the energy and the mindset of like, oh my God, this is awful. Instead, transforming it to, where is my solution? How can I look forward? And how can I change what I don't like about right now? What's within my own power that I can make the difference in my own life, for those around me, anything.
Ingrid, such an important message. I do encourage everybody, sign up, $127 free the next 24 hours. Go to Ingrid's website, sign up, get the ebook, and then connect into the community, because what do you have to lose? I mean, what, making friends? Oh, how rough is that?
Maybe even a client through it, you know? That's what I'm there for. I want to give, that's what it's all about. Connecting the right people to the right sources.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you do. And I'm just so happy and honored to get to know you.
Same here, Amy. Thank you so much. And a huge kudos to you being able to bring together 24 people into a 12-hour time. You are amazing. And so for those of you that haven't yet, I would hugely recommend go to Amy's site and get that book. I mean, holy mackerel, why wouldn't you?
Thank you so much.
Take care then.